Reaction continues to pour in tonight following the Liberal government's first ever budget under Prime Minister Mark Carney, which was released yesterday. Let's bring in CTV's Taylor Brock now to break it down for us. Taylor, lots to get to. What are we hearing?
Well, a lot of questions, Marilee. There's some apprehension today from at least one First Nations organization here in Manitoba. The Southern Chiefs organization says while there are some promising funding announcements, they lack detail on how they will be implemented. For example, the SCO says while the budget earmarks some $2.8 billion for housing in Indigenous communities, it says it's unclear how that money will actually make its way to people who need it most. SCO leadership says this isn't the first time First Nations communities have been promised major government spending on housing, and yet people continue to live in inadequate, overcrowded homes. They're also concerned about First Nations health care, saying cuts to Health Canada and the Public Health Agency of Canada will only make it more challenging for their citizens to access care. Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs Grand Chief Kyra Wilson was more direct, saying the budget, quote, does not reflect the needs of First Nations.
The numbers and the distinction for First Nations or the impact to First Nations is not clear in the budget, and so some of the budgetary items like for First Nations infrastructure is looped into provincial and territorial infrastructure budgets, and I believe that there needs to be a distinction there given that we have a treaty partnership with the Crown.
Meantime, political scientist Christopher Adams says while it's remarkable the deficit will nearly double to some $78 billion, he's not surprised to see a strong spending focus on infrastructure and defense. In fact, Adams says it reminds him of what Canadians saw in the wake of the Second World War, when the country needed to take on huge amounts of debt to get the economy moving again. In the present day, he says that can only be understood in the context of Donald Trump.
There is a need by Ottawa to put more money into incentives for businesses to get through this period of time. So it would be quite a different budget if we were not facing the threat of tariffs. This last election a few months ago, Mark Carney campaigned on dealing with Donald Trump, and he also campaigned very strongly, to use his words, build, baby, build. And so we did expect that there'd be a lot of money on infrastructure.
Adams notes it's still an open question as to whether the budget will actually pass because the Liberals have a minority government.
Good point. All right, thanks for this, Taylor. Now, if you would like to learn more about the federal budget, we have plenty of analysis and reaction up on our website. Just head to ctvnews.ca.